Hey Trinity family, we're so excited to introduce something new to you today, and that is Table Talk. And I have invited two of my favorite students from TCS to join us. We have senior Josh Taylor, and then we also have junior Jadyn Hill. And they are way too bright for their own good, and certainly brings humility into my life when I hear about all the accolades and all the prospects that are for you. And so we want to start off by just saying how proud we are of both of you. And then I want to just have you guys share a little bit about maybe your journey, what Trinity has meant to you. You know, we have areas of growth here at Trinity that we are really cognizant of. And a part of it is like professional development. We want our teachers, our coaches to be on point so that you are being trained, so that your education here is going to train you for your next spot. And you guys have some considerable goals before you. And obviously some of you are, you're involved in athletics, you're involved in debate and speech, and you've been involved with the arts and local church community. And so we're going to talk about those things a little bit. Josh, you've been here the longest. How long have you been at Trinity now?
I've been at Trinity since 6th grade. But I've been at the church here since 4th grade.
Okay.
We moved from Alabama, and as soon as we got here, we got plugged in. I actually came the week of music camp in the summer.
Okay.
And that was my first interaction with the church, and then went to church until 6th grade when we were able to move me over here for school.
Okay.
And I've been here ever since.
So you, it's interesting. You're involved in football. You're involved in soccer. You played a lead role in the performing arts. It's very uncommon that you have someone that's involved in athletics, that are involved in the arts, but I absolutely love that. Tell me a little bit about your experience as a student here that has a lot of other interest.
Yeah. Everything that I have wanted to get involved in or been interested in, there's been an opportunity to do it. And I know with other students that have had interests that weren't available maybe a while ago, there's so many new clubs and programs coming about every single year, and a lot of things have changed, a lot of things have grown. But for me, I was able to come in here and start playing football immediately in 6th grade. I joined the basketball team. I was on the track team freshman year. I play soccer right now. I've been in the musicals since sophomore year. Mm-hmm. There's so much available. And I mean, I know that the statistic is something like 80% of everyone at Trinity is involved in an athletic activity, and the rest of them are all involved in other different things, whether it would be the arts or other new clubs. But everything that I've wanted to do, I've been able to do it, and not only just participate in it, but grow in it and be taught by some of the best coaches and teachers that anyone could ask for. I mean, my teachers, well, they're all very invested. Our coaching staffs and our staffs for all the other clubs and for the musicals, they're all people who teach in the school, and they're involved more than just in the extracurricular side.
So you get to know them on a day-to-day basis then.
Yes, and they're not just here for themselves to go back and do something that they loved as a kid. They're here for us.
Yeah.
So they teach us more than just about our sport or activity. They teach us about life.
Yeah.
The other day in physics class with Mr. Stell, we have a great time in there. It's
you have a great time in physics.
We do.
That seems to be oxymoronic, but anyway.
Well, it is a doing of Mr. Stell, because like the other day, we just were on a subject and ended up talking for the rest of the class time about Mr. Stell's experience in the real world with finances and how he manages them and things like insurance. We just got off on a tangent and started talking about those things, and he cared not only about us in the classroom, because he does a great job teaching day to day, but we were on a subject and he was
Life
like,
beyond,
I'll just use this opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that, Josh. You know, Jadyn, you're a new student here at Trinity. You're a junior, came over from a public school setting.
Right.
Tell us just a little bit about your experience here at Trinity and how you're growing as a person.
Well, the contrast between here and other public schools, especially the one I went to, is hard to even put in words. I definitely love that I get to be in a community that supports all aspects of me, as like Josh was talking about. We have real conversations because we are people who are on the same page as far as our faith goes, as far as wanting to be successful in life. Our teachers, it's definitely easier to have one-on-ones with them and for us to be more interactive, but there is always a common good and that everybody in the classroom wants to achieve. Everybody has that understanding. So it's not something I experienced when I was in public schools, so it's amazing to have.
Now, we've been interacting a good bit because you've had this idea to start a new club that really helps us to understand different cultures and appreciate the uniqueness. Each one of us bear the image of God. We have unique tastes and personalities and backgrounds. Can you tell me how the Lord kind of put that in your heart?
That's a very good question. I came here and I definitely seen the faithfulness of everybody. It's resounding. It's impossible to ignore. But I did notice that there were some people who are a little disconnected and misguided, and that happens. But I really was on my heart heavy to find a way to bring everybody together for something that we can relate to, help build the education and the understanding of these cultures and where people come from that's different. I've only been here for a year, but I have seen that the culture of Trinity in itself is changing. It's becoming more diverse. There's a different type of people it's coming to, and I love to see that expansion. So I was wondering what way can I aid this expansion, and the IN was just the perfect way to do it.
Well, I love that, Jadyn, and I love that you're creating an atmosphere where people can really communicate openly, be vulnerable, share our hearts, our hurts, all of that together.
Exactly.
Now, I was walking by you in the cafeteria and you were studying. You were being very astute. Others were off talking. You were there, zoned in on your studies. And I asked where you wanted to go to college, and you told me Harvard. Okay, so it wouldn't have mattered for me if I wanted to go to Harvard. That was never going to be in the cards for me. So we're at different places academically. All right. So when I was I graduated in the top 10% of the lower third of my class. So anyways, just a fun little tidbit. Hopefully that's a joke. Hopefully there's no truth to that. But Jadyn, tell me, what are your prospects? How hard is it to get into Harvard, and what are you doing academically so that you do qualify to get into a place like Harvard? Because it's not just academics either. It's right. They're looking at the whole person to see if it's a good fit. Yeah.
That is something that I value in Harvard, and that is why that is my choice of school, because they're looking at the whole person. I've always been very driven academically. It's something that comes very naturally to me, but Harvard, well, I want to go into law, so that's the top school for law. But it is hard to get into, but I've worked on investing in other areas of my life outside of just school. And here's a good place to do it, because it is a school, but at the end of the day, Trinity is a community. So I know that I'm being supported no matter what I want to achieve or what I'm looking into. There's always going to be a staff behind me to support me. But yeah, it's hard to get into, but more than just academics, I've been becoming a more well-rounded person, and that's what I'm looking into. I've been doing programs since maybe first grade outside of school. All of my summers are spent doing programs, so it's something I'm very used to. But
so you're telling me you've been working on this since first grade?
Very much so.
Well, it's good that you're thinking ahead, Jadyn. Yeah.
I'm
not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow, but I'm glad that you were working on it since first grade.
It's something that it's easier to do. It seems hard, but it's easier to do when you're working for a purpose greater than yourself. None of my dreams are my own. They're all things I want to achieve for the people around me and for the prosperity of God's people. So it's easy to know that when you're walking in the path that God has set for you, that the doors will open. All you have to do is hold up your end.
So give me a thought, GPA, what do you need to be at? What about your ACT scores? What do you need to do to get into a place like Harvard?
So Harvard has transitioned to test optional, and I got to talk to one recruiter, and he's like, we really do not, I can genuinely say we don't even consider the test anymore.
Really?
So they don't play a huge role, but I mean, if it comes down to you and another person having identical things, and your SAT score is what sets you apart. That's what's going to play the decision maker. The GPA is about 4.01, but that is, those are released, those GPAs, like all of that is released to aim towards a certain statistic of students. But in reality, if you have put effort in outside of the classroom to become a well-rounded person, someone who has something to contribute to Harvard and society as a whole, they're really more focused on that. I know a person who got in with a 3.89, and it seems lower, or no, it was 3.89, and it seems lower than what Harvard standard would be, but he was an amazing person all around, and he had a struggle in the classroom at the beginning and had a change of heart and completely went on a new path, and Harvard was able to accompany his walk in life and understand that.
Yeah. All right. Well, good.
Yeah.
So, Josh, you have been really navigating. You're a year ahead of Jadyn. You're ready. In fact, you have committed to a college. So I don't even know what it is. You're going to, this is your announcement right here. Tell me where, the drum roll, where are we going?
We are going to Georgia Tech.
All right.
Nice.
Awesome. And so you had a chance to go to some of the military academies and plenty of opportunities for you. I know your GPA is high. I also know you got a 32 on your ACT, which is like double what I got, but I'm not bitter at all. So the sky was the limit for you, Josh. You've been here for a long time. Tell me, what led you to choose Georgia Tech?
Oh man, Georgia Tech, I'm interested in civil engineering, and that came about just playing Minecraft and going.
There's some things we don't want you to share with everyone. Okay, no, go ahead, sorry.
Playing Minecraft and going and visiting cool cities and seeing the buildings, I just always had a wonder about it and wanted to recreate it myself.
Yeah.
And I'm gifted in math and in physics. Those are some of my strong suits and my interests, so they fit the major well. And there's few places better to be a civil engineer than at Georgia Tech.
And you're going to be a punter for their football team, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Well, fantastic. Well, listen, congratulations. We're really proud of you. Let me just ask one final question for both of you, and that is the whole idea of this isn't just education, it's a Christian education. So our goal is, whether it's at Georgia Tech, Harvard, we want you to go to those places and have a sense of, hey, I'm going to look at everything with a biblical worldview, and I want Christ to be glorified in everything that I put my hands to. Tell me a little bit about what Christ means to you and how that's going to play into your life and into your decisions. Jadyn, why don't you start?
Well, I've grown up in a Christian household, so it's something that's been deeply ingrained in me. But my relationship with Christ has always been my own. My mother has never in any way forced religion on me, and I think that's the most beneficial way to go about it, advantageous. It's always been my own relationship, and I can trust in that. But here, for it to be reinforced, and more than just going to church on a Sunday. Like, I show up and I'm surrounded by people who love Christ just as much as me, and when I fall short, I know that these people are going to help pick me up and take me to where I need to be. It definitely has helped me find my grounding and what I want to look for in the future, what type of people I want to surround myself with. I didn't realize how big of a role it played in my walk of faith, because I've always looked at myself, I'm like, I'm a faithful person, I have no doubts in God, but I've fallen short many times, as most humans have. Yeah. But I didn't think it played that big of a role growing up in public school. I didn't think it was that important. I surrounded myself with just anybody. I was friends with everybody, and I just trusted myself to make the right decisions. But here, I've grown exponentially. It can't even be measured. That's awesome. I'm a totally different person just in the semester that I've been here, and I want to continue to see that growth. So it's helped me know what types of people I'm looking for in my future, what type of relationships I want to have, be it romantic or platonic, or people I want to surround myself with who have my best interest in mind and who want to achieve greatness with me.
Well, you know what? If the law thing doesn't work out, you could be a preacher one day. You got it there. How about you, Josh? Because you've been involved in a lot of things. I know you've been really faithful in athletics, the arts, education. You've been really faithful in the local church. Tell us, what role is Christ playing in your life and in your education and your goals and in your dreams?
Well, if God is real, which we know He is, so much evidence, and we know personally, then everything that He has said in His Word should be the ultimate priority of our lives. And in His Word, we know that He's given us all gifts, and He's given us all a plan, and there's an aspect of the gospel that is to be furthered through us as His ambassadors here to the world. So everything, every gift that He has given me, it's my desire to use it as an offering and a sacrifice back to Him. And so if that's me going as hard as I can in the weight room or on the practice field, it'll be that. If it's studying and trying to achieve my potential in the classroom, then it'll be that.
Yeah.
If it's using my voice, whether it's on a worship set or on a stage in theater, then it'll be that. But ultimately, those gifts are not there for me. They're to give glory back to Him.
Yeah, that's good.
And so with that in mind, and it's all, God's about people, God's about us. And so I don't want to just achieve myself. I want to push others to come with me and to develop themselves and further themselves, not just for their talents in the world, but in their relationship with Christ, because Christ is the only purpose and He is the only fulfillment. If I was doing this all for myself, it would be worthless. It's filthy rags.
Yeah.
But with Christ, there's a purpose that's eternal, that lasts far after I'm gone and far after I step off the football field for the last time, far after I'm out of a classroom. It's never ending and it's incomprehensible, but it's the only thing that matters. So if that focus is one that I can keep on as I go through college and go into whatever happens, then God will direct my steps, because I'm not important enough to mess up His plan. So as long as I just follow Him and pursue Him, then He'll work through me.
Yeah,
Amen,
that's
Josh.
good. Well, hey, if engineering doesn't work out, you might want to try pastoral work. I tell you, we got...
You could go into a partnership.
Well, Trinity, this is why you send your kids to this school. And our hope and our prayer is that we can partner with all of our parents to raise up kids like these two and raise them in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. We're so proud of each of you. We can't wait to see what God's going to do in your lives. It's the sky is the limit. It's amazing. Listen, we'd love to hear more stories from you at Trinity. If you would communicate with us by emailing communications@tcslions.org, we'd love to hear your story as well. God bless you, Trinity. We love you.